Hello and welcome back to Nonsense Hammer.
Yes.
The new General's Handbook.
It's very exciting.
We filmed this yesterday if you're watching this on day of release.
This is brand new, this couldn't be newer.
It's 22 degrees in England
We are it's so hot here. Yes. Our houses are not built for this.
But enough of that. You've already heard too much whinging in the last videos. Today is a new General's Handbook. We're going to be better.
Don't be salty.
I will be salty if it's deserved. Anyway, so what are we playing, Emma? What's the new book? We are playing
Battleplan number 1, table number 1, Passing Seasons.
Passing Seasons, which will be shown now as you see the table set up with how things are.
Keep talking while it's shown.
That's the plan.
So each player scores victory points at the end of each of their turns as follows. Turns as follows. In battle rounds 1, 3 and 5, score 5 victory points for each gnarled route objective that you control. Those are the slightly green ones with the weird, gnarled route thing.
So they're in no man's land.
They're in no man's land in a minute.
Adjacent is it the adjacent or the perpendicular? Opposite corners, either side.
And then in battle rounds 2 and 4, score 5 victory points for each oak and brow objective that you control. And those are the ones that are in your home territories.
Duh.
There is a twist in battle rounds 2 and 4. If you are the underdog, you can use the burgeoning rejuvenation ability.
Sorry, I'm just making sure I got it right. So it's 1, 3
and 5. You score 5 victory points. So if you control
for the greens.
If you control these in round 2, you won't score any victory points for them. And then 2 and 4, so the even numbers, score 5 victory points for the ones in your home.
Okay, that's fine. I misread it earlier, thinking that the home ones were also included on round 5. No. So the home ones are just 2 and 4. That's fine.
They're just 2 and 4. The twist in battle rounds 2 and 4. So the home objective ones. If you are the underdog, you can use the burgeoning rejuvenation ability. In 3 and 5, while you are the underdog, your army has powerful resurgence. Burgeoning rejuvenation gets to heal things and add wards, depending on where you are and what you control. Powerful resurgence, add 1 to wound rolls for combat attacks made by friendly units while they're contesting a gnarl route, a green objective.
Excellent.
Yes, so we have set up. Is the camera still filming the mat? Or is it on us now?
It'll be back on us.
So we have set up in the opposite corners from each other. There's quite a lot of orange.
Sorry, just so your nitroconus is broken. Anyway,
did I move him away from the edge? He was right up.
I don't know.
There we go.
Anyway, so yes, you were saying, sorry.
We are set up in the opposite corners to each other on the oak and brow objectives. And I put something on the oak and brow because I went, oh, but you can control it from the beginning. No, you can't. Now we've just read the card.
You can control it, you just don't score it.
You just don't score it.
Because so controlling still works.
Yeah, you can put something on it now, but then you just don't score it at the end.
Yes. For those that are playing along at home, how?
People do that. How are you doing this?
So the 2 central terrain pieces are places of power on the long table edges. On the shorter way, no, that's not. In the centre on long ways, the 2 pieces are places of power.
Yes.
In the middle, going short ways, are 2 obscuring terrain pieces. No. They are obstacles because they don't have obscuring unless someone uses places of power.
Everything's changed in this edition. Everything's changed, and I think it's easier to explain it as we go rather than now.
That's fine. I'm just saying what they are, and then the little ones are
my hair out
just
it's too hot.
So the two statues are also places of power, and the 2 little walls are obscuring terrain as well.
Okay.
So just so we've got those obscuring basically now. If you're if all models in your unit are not monstrous and haven't got fly and are within 1 inch, they can't be seen unless you're in combat with them.
Yeah.
That's the long and short of it. To stop shooters doing this and just sniping everyone, shooting is also halved in range.
Yeah, shooting's harder now. I don't think I have many things that can shoot.
I'm playing Fyreslayers, so I don't have any shooting. Speaking of I'm playing Fyreslayers, Slayers. Shall we do some lists?
Do your list.
Would you like to go first as the attacker, as is your right?
Sure, let's have a slow pan over the Sylvaneth as we talk through them. So we are doing, no we're not, I'm doing Sylvaneth with a regiment of renown of Stormcast, Valnir's Stormwing, so 2 dragons plus a load of trees. We have a Spirit of Durthu as our general. I'm going to kind of point, but you're just panning over at this point. We have Spirit of Durthu as our general. He has got the Spellsinger trait. So while he's within 3 inches of a wildwood, he essentially is a wizard with the ability of 1 spell. And then I've also given him from the Scourge of Gairan nonsense. Each phase he can re-roll 1 hit, 1 wound and 1 save.
That is the
Glamour Weave.
Glamour
I've given him Glamour Weave. So he has that, which is also fun.
You're also using the new battle formation, aren't you?
I have not got to that
No,
yet.
that's fine, I was just saying.
Also, in the army, we have 2 sets of Kernoths with scythes. We have a set of Tree Revenants. We have Belthanos. We have Tree Lord Ancient, and we have Arch Revenant. And then for Valnir Stormwing, we have Stormdrake Guard, just 1, single Pringle, and Knight Draconis. Stormdrake Guard is using the Lance. So if he charges and stuff, it does more. Except it's an invisible lance for the purposes of this. For my battle formation, I've taken these one of the Scourge of Gairan ones, and we've gone for Wargrove of the Burgeoning. So once per turn, at the end of any turn, pick a friendly non-hero Sylvaneth unit within 3 inches of a terrain feature. If they have a health characteristic of 1, return up to 3 slain models. If they have a health characteristic of 2 or more, roll a dice. Pick one of the following: either heal X, where X is equal to the roll, or return a number of slain models to the target with a combined health characteristic equal or less than the roll.
Excellent.
So we are going to use that. We don't have a lot of non-heroes. We have 4 Sylvaneth units who... No, 3 Sylvaneth units who aren't heroes, but every little helps.
Dun, dun.
Dun, dun. And then that's kind of... I kind of went for Law and Order. Dun, dun. And then that is the Sylvaneth army.
1950 points.
1950 points. We've got manifestations, the primal energy.
Primal energy. Gnashing Jaws.
Gnashing Jaws and Burning Head.
We haven't got Life Swarm because I'm lazy and I haven't got any AOS.
We haven't got that one.
Anyway, so 1950 versus my 1960 points of Fyreslayers. I have gone not very into Scourge Gairan because I only have 1 singular Magma Doof. But the Magma Doof is my love, and I love him. So we've got the Auric Revolver as our general, as usual, and in his regiment we have 2 reinforced units of Volkite Berserkers and a Grimhold Exile with the Ashbeard enhancement, which turns him into a Priest 1. It's now 20 points. Cheers, James. Regiment 2 is an Auric Rune Master with a set of Auric Half Guard, an Auric Rune Sun, which is now cheaper. Thanks, James. And a set of...
James is our friend.
I've realised I need to take 1 unit off the board, so apologies you're seeing 20 half-guard berserkers on the board. I've only got 1 reinforced set. It's because I took Gotrek out trying to be fair, and they went, no, I wouldn't do that for work, so for tournament, so I'm going to take that, put him back in and see what happens. So actually I only have 1 reinforced unit of half-guard berserkers with flaming poleaxes. And I have given the Rune Sun the Magmalt Ale, so he can have his double attacks once per game, because I am aiming to try cover a little bit of all bases in this one. I know the game is currently leaning towards priests and wizards and things, but I want to have like a cover for monsters when someone brings Soulblight Gravelords and Prince Vordry appears. Or someone has, say, dragons.
I don't know anyone who'd put dragons in a Warhammer game.
But
this isn't Dungeons and Dragons.
Speaking of my Dungeons and Dragons, there is Grimnir, otherwise known as Gotrek Gunnison, the Regiment of Renown, the army in himself, rounding the points off in 1960. I also have a Magma Balforge, and it's there finally.
Oh, also I have an Awakened Wildwood. Sorry, I didn't do terrain features, but you have yours, I have mine.
The only thing that we haven't done, which we need to do after this, but that'll be fine because it'll be a bit more easy to talk about both of them at once. But the only Scourge of Gairan thing I have done is I have given the monster trait, because we've got monster traits back, to my Magmadou, he has got the thickened scales, which gives him ignore 1 rend, essentially, against attacks against him. So it's back. The Magmadoofs are back. I'm going to buy more, especially because it's
very happy with this, obviously, as you can tell. Now just checking my list for something.
That's fine.
Please bear with.
You continue that as I go into the final part that I haven't done, so 1960 points. We're using the Warrior Kimband because I've not got enough Magmadroth to use anything more from the Scourge Go-Ran. But you know what we will be using in the Scourge Go-Ran? The new battle tactics!
New battle tactics!
So, I am using the... I can't remember the name of the thing. Attune to Go-Ran. I've got it in front of me here, Stephen. Intercept and Recover was the one I can remember. Attune to Go-Ran and Intercept and Recover. Which essentially, Intercept and Recover is I ask you to pick 3 units, can't be manifestations, and I get to get 5 points if I've killed one of those by the end of a turn. And Attune to Go-Ran, which I believe is also one you've got.
Yes, I have got that one.
So if I explain that one, then we can pass over to what your other battle tactic is. So I've got, it's basically seize the centre, followed by 2 units retreat, another 2 charge, and at least one of those units ended that charge move with an enemy unit from which any law units retreated. So basically 2 retreat, 2 charge, at least one of them has to charge into a unit that was retreated from. So it's there was the other battle tactic, bait and hook or whatever it's called. And then finally, purification of rights. If there are no if there are no enemy turn units in friendly or neutral territory, which if you're also doing, it's kind of like an interesting game in that I've got to kill your things, but also stop you taking out this 3 quarters. You've got to stop me taking these 3 quarters. And your other battle tactic?
Could you pass it?
That's fine.
Wrathful Cycles. So, my first one, the Affray tactic. You complete this battle tactic at the end of your turn if you control more objectives than your opponent. Daring Resurgence. For the second, you complete it if you are the underdog this battle round. How do you make yourself the underdog?
Well, you don't make yourself the underdog. You technically can by knowingly not scoring as many points.
There's at least 1 friendly unit on the battlefield and at least half of the friendly units, rounding up, use to fight ability. And Master of Strategy for domination. You complete this battle tactic if there is a different friendly unit wholly within each large quarter, you control more objectives than your opponent, and there are no enemy units contesting any objectives you control.
So an interesting thing here, because this is the first time we're actually playing, we played 1 game of this just to try it out.
It went really badly.
When the world found it online somewhere. I'm not going to speak about anywhere else. But we also wanted to play fair and we didn't put that on YouTube. We just said we did it.
Yes, we just said.
We didn't admit to piracy.
No,
we admitted to piracy, we just don't have any evidence it happened. Anyway, your thing of strike, where it's be the underdog and then fight, what I would potentially be doing is something like intentionally not going onto an objective, so you know your opponent's going to get a score, and then in your turn, you use that to then charge onto the objective that you purposely didn't take, fight on the objective, and therefore you've got the fight element of the tactic, and then you've also then scored more, which will then get you a bigger boost of the 5 points from that plus the 5 points from the objective to give you kind of like that you're intentionally like taking a back step to take 2 steps forward, essentially.
Yes, you are.
In the words of Willy Wonka or some such. Anyway,
some guy.
So you are the attacker. You get to choose who goes first.
I will go first.
You're going to go first. The only thing I could ask you to do before that is to pick 3 units for me to kill who are carrying my treasure.
You want me to pick 3 of my units to kill?
Yeah, so with my battle tactic, I've got to have you've got to pick 3 individual units, and if I get 5 points for killing one of them by the end of a turn. So if I've killed 1, I get 5 points. If I've killed 2 on the next turn, I get another 5 points. I get 3. If I double turn you at any point, you get to take a treasure away, and I can't score it essentially.
Well, I'm going to pick my big 3.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's where I was thinking you would.
and Tree Lord.
That's fine. I'm aiming to table you, so.
I'm aiming to just score points, however we score points.
I'm not to get away the plan early, but I am...
It's not always the plan for Warhammer.
No, because I don't intentionally come at it thinking I'm ever going to table, but when I see your Sylvaneth, because of how you build them, I'm like, if I can focus it right, I can, with all the axes I have, chop some trees down. Anyway, so you're going first.
Isn't he sweet?
We'll put some coins on to remind me of your big three, just so I can remember, and also we can physically take it away if I double. For those wondering about the double, if you're 11 points behind and you seize the initiative as you would in the previous General's Handbook, you can't score a battle tactic going forward, and you also don't. The opponent becomes the underdog until they then seize the initiative off you.
Treasure.
Thank you. So we'll be back in a moment, unless there's anything else you want to say.
No.
Sylvaneth Turn 1.
Turn 1 for Sylvaneth, in that we scored 15 points. So one of the first things we did was use Belthanoth's ability to turn a terrain feature into an Awakened Wildwood. He only has that once per battle, so now it's done, we can't do it again. But it does mean that this terrain here is now a Wildwood.
Okay.
I'm going to block it off on his card so that I don't make the mistake of using it again. Durthu over here was near that Wildwood, and he's got Spellsinger. So he was able to cast a spell, which he did. You didn't unbind it, so we created another Wildwood over there. So now there's 3 Wildwoods on the board. This terrain feature has less Wildwood capabilities than the other 2, but still has some stuff. Then my tactics that I need to get, attuned to Gairan, I have to get at least 2 friendly units within 3 inches of the centre and not in combat. So basically seize the centre. We've done that with a Tree Lord Ancient and the Kurnoths, who all ran, so couldn't charge or shoot, which is fine. And then my first tactic for Wrathful Cycles, we have to control more objectives than my opponent. At the start of the turn, we both controlled our home objectives, and then I have moved these 2 this way to take this objective, which is a gnarled route 1, and you get 5 points in turn 1 if you control a gnarl route objective. So we've got 5 points for the gnarl route, 5 points for controlling more objectives than you, 5 points for having my seize the centre thingy, and I could have controlled more objectives, but I'm trying to keep myself as the underdog, although I have just scored 15 points, and that's a lot. So
indeed.
You might not be the underdog, and you just have sweat drip in your eye.
Leave me alone. I'm a very warm, fat man.
Yes, 'tis warm, 'tis warm. So yes, that's me.
Yes, so the only that, out of this, because this is the interesting thing about points now, is you were 15 of a possible 20, because you would have got 5 more points if you got the other objective.
Yeah.
But other than that, you could technically still be the underdog, depending on what happens in my turn.
I know, you might screw me over now by going, no, I'm not going to get points.
I mean, I'm just going to do a little visual for anyone to say. So this is Gotrek, and he's looking up the middle. These boys here are the Half-Guard Berserkers with the Rune Sun, which means I can chain fight with them. And I have the tactic of taking the centre as well, which is quite a short distance, even for my little legs in the Fyreslayers. But yes, I'll read the tactic just to make sure I'm not cheating, because I know it says you're not in combat. I don't know if it's you can't have been in combat, but we'll find that out.
It doesn't say that. It just says
end the turn not in combat.
3 inches that are not in combat.
Okay, yeah. So it is the original seize the centre of.
Yeah, you have
if there was something there, you could kill it.
all my stuff, because if you leave things standing, it's.
Let's just remind ourselves. Kill everything. Go trek. Nice. Well, back in a moment for Fyreslayers Turn 1. welcome back to Fyreslayers Turn 1.
That's the wog. Why did you do that?
Because I'm an orc at heart. So, welcome. We have done quite a bit of good stuff, in fairness. We've got some rules, which didn't help me, but it's the problem of trying to solidify new rules in my head whilst also remembering old rules. So, what happened? Tell us about it, Sturd. We came around the corner with our Grimhold Exile, giving both the Half-Guard Berserkers, the Ruined Sun, and the Volkite Berserkers over here a reroll charge ability with his once per ability thing that once per battle ability that he does in the hero phase. We, as suggested, just came charging up the centre with Gotrek and Co. Around here, we charged into Belphanos, who was then met with a dragon as well, with Belphanos's tricksy ability and also counter charge. Over the way, I completely forgot that you could charge a terrain feature, so I just went moving around it, thinking I could come around and charge into I could come and charge into the guys, but then wanted to stay on that objective, so I ran him rather than charging, which I could have charged the terrain feature and got wholly on there, and I could have also used the charge of the Volkite Berserkers to back him up a bit.
They look like fried eggs from here.
Thank you. They have slowly moved away from their yellowing that they were last video they were in, and they're starting to actually be painted orange, as they should be in the style of the current ones over here, annoying your two big boys. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, that kind of happened, and then we remembered that you fight terrain features in this in this game. So
you killed it, it's not there.
So the Magma Drop's gone over just splashing away at this tree, being like, no. Anyway, and then in the centre, the fun thing happened. We tried to take out the Kernoffs with the Rune. No, the Runeson went into the Tree Lord Ancient. Forgot about his Magma Ale thing, thinking he'll be fine, he won't need it this turn. Should have drank it, because we probably would have got an actual win there. But then chained into the Half-Guard Berserkers, who took away 2 of the Kernoffs and did a little bit more damage to the Tree Lord Ancient as well. Yep. And then Gotrek did some swinging.
Yep.
And we used the Rune of Searing Heat to get mortals for all Fyreslayers this turn. So that was fun. So we ended up at the end of all of this madness, taking this objective over here, taking that objective over there, so we get 10 points. But we haven't seized the centre because there's still a Tree Lord Ancient and a Kernoff there. And we haven't done the other element, which was attuned to go around. Was that one? Oh, we haven't killed one of the treasure holders, because the reason I picked that one was more narrative, in that Fyreslayers are constantly searching for Urgold, and I like the idea that this battle tactic is them finding out 3 of the army in your opponent's thing is actually carrying Urgold, not Gironite treasure. Or they both believe them to be the same thing, and yeah, it's just me being a nerd. Anyway, that was my turn. 10 points to 15 in the Sylvaneth's favour. How are you feeling over there?
Okay, I just know I've got quite a lot of things on very low points, so I'm sort of like, what am I doing? We'll find out. Well, and I'm not the underdog, so I can't get my next tactic right now.
Well, you can't get one of your next tactics.
Yeah, you can potentially do the other one, but I can't.
What's the other one? So
the retreat and charge one.
Yeah, retreat and charge. So you can retreat with these 2 boys.
Yeah, I can retreat and stuff.
You retreat with those 2 boys. It's just that you've got to charge one of these 3 units.
Yes, yeah.
Which is fairly easy to do when you've got these guys here. And then only other thing is have one other thing charge. Yeah. So in fairness, you've got an open Magma Drop over there. So, not to encourage you, I'm scared of losing him. Anyway, yes, that is the turn that was. It's now 10 to 15 in the Scourge of Gairan's favour. You're actually the home of Gairan, because you are Sylvaneth. We rolled priority and you got the priority. I won,
so I'll go first.
You're going to go first?
Yeah.
Excellent. So, we shall be back in a moment with Sylvaneth. Turn 2.
Bye. Well, that one wasn't as good. We're trying not to be salty.
She said
that one wasn't as good. Because things died. Belfenos died. Some other things died. Belfenos died retreating. And then I had to get things to charge into stuff that had been in combat and I didn't. So I didn't get any of my tactics. I did get 5 points for having an Oakenbrow objective. But that's it. Yeah, some things died, some more trees died. That's it, really. The score at the minute is 20.
20 to 10.
For me, 10 for you. Killed a dragon, killed Belfenos. So yeah, we're just kind of... How are you doing, girl? You know?
I mean, you did take out my big nasty Magmadroth.
Magmadroth, that was fun.
Yeah, over here. He tried to redeploy and then had the full might of Night Draconis and Dirthy run at him.
He did bring Night Draconis down to 10 and Dirthy down to 6 beforehand.
And even with so I took the rejuvenation ability where the Fyreslayers on objectives would have +1 to their ward, so he has a 5-up ward over there, and over there they had a 5-up ward as well. But poor guy took 20 damage, and he's only 14 health, and he would have saved if it wasn't for the 3 damage he did in shooting.
Yep.
Because Anyway.
Anyway.
So yeah. Okay. I am currently the underdog, so I've still got that ward ability for the rest of the turn. I'm really annoyed at myself because I would have used the Fyreslayers start of the battle round to say you're going to have strike first, but I'm glad I've still got it for another round.
Yep.
We come into my turn 2 now. Anything else you want to say before we get on with this?
Feels like it's going to storm outside.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm going to go stand in the rain when it does.
Come back.
So hot. My brain is moving so slowly.
Come back in turn 3 for a wet round.
Yeah, we'll cut the camera off and we'll go and stand outside for a bit. But my brain is at that point of heat exhaustion where just like I'm moving so sluggishly and I've lost the power to hold.
I was thinking that that last turn felt very long in both of us.
Didn't it?
Yeah. But it's okay.
I was just like, Rolf, trying to read numbers like 6?
Yeah. But
what is numbers? Yeah.
We shall come back in a moment for Fyreslayers Turn 2.
Yep.
And like I said, the wet t-shirt round. Unfortunately, not to be quite crass and gross, I think I'm already on the wet t-shirt round with the heat. But okay.
Maybe we should pause the game and have a nap now in the corner. Then
Yes, you can go have a nap. Anyway, back in a moment.
Bye.
Fyreslayers Turn 2. So it went well, I think.
It did.
Look
at the stains on that table on the screen. That's ridiculous.
How dare you, James Workshop?
I know.
So glorious. So it's really discombobulating after now 4 years of playing a game where at the beginning of each round you state, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, we were really good on it before.
sometimes we forgot that we had to do that. But like, it's really weird doing it for this one. But going forward, I had the knowledge that I needed to clear that centre. So that's kind of where we're going now in our brains, I imagine, or at least in my brain I am. I'm looking at what I'm currently needing as a battle tactic and going, right, that's my next objective. I feel that's more satisfying than the previous way. At us in the comments if you would like to tell us that we're wrong. Because it's an opinion, and they can't be wrong. Anyway...
They're like arseholes. They also can't be wrong.
Anyway, everyone is an arsehole. Anyway,
everyone is an arsehole, yes.
So yes, we basically just shuffled forward to try and get rid of that one Kurnoff because I was worried about him, especially with your healing ability bringing things back. I shuffled forwards over in the corner just to get the basically the home objective holders just a little bit more forward. I also summoned the Flame Spitter, who tried to hit Durthu and flubbed. I should have tried to hit the Tree Lord Engine instead, and that would have given me a bit more chance. However, we live, we learn. In the words of Alanis Morissette.
Alanis Morissette.
Morissette. It's warm, leave me alone!
We don't know what words are today.
Over on this side, we charged around with the Volkite Berserkers and we took out the Tree Lord, the Dragon, but we didn't manage to kill Durthu. He's left on 2 wounds standing after quite a successful slashy.
I forgot his ability.
Yes. With that then, that was the end of the turn. Oh, well, up here we came around the corner to try smash into the Tree Lords, and the Tree Lord is back on, not Tree Lord, the Tree Revenants. There's one model on full wounds thanks to its healing ability. Gods, this is an interesting game so far. I am pushing you back into your corner, which is what I wanted. So I'm not unhappy with how the game is going, but I am, as I said at the very beginning of the game, going, I need to revisit my Fyreslayers collection. Because there's parts of it where I'm like, maybe the Volkite Berserkers are great, that's lovely, we've got them, but I think replacing a bubble of 20 Volkite Berserkers with more chain axes, or maybe the unchained versions would be really good. But that's just me talking. So after all of it, struggling to get towards your home objective. I think in the next round I'll probably get up there.
Yeah.
But you've got a lot of nasty things stopping me. Kept my home objective for 5 points. Got the Seize the Centre element of Tune to Gairan, or the Affray version, because we should stop using old things. But we got Affray for that, and we also got Affray for the...
I never appreciated Seize the Centre while we had it.
You appreciated it a little too much, darling. But I also got the Affray for the Intercept and Retrieve.
Yeah.
I believe it's called, where you killed him for me, but you killed Belfanos with that retreat. And
does that count then?
Yep, it just says a model has to be destroyed, the unit has to be destroyed. It doesn't say that I had to personally kill them.
Oh, okay.
Which is why someone was talking about this the other day in one of the chats, which I very much enjoyed the logic, and I was like, that's such a clever, funny game move. But they were talking about playing their Slaves to Darkness, having a Demon Prince, and in their turn 1, using the traits, so they charge him in turn 1 in their turn, it immediately dies because it can't handle whatever it charged into, and then that's locked out an entire terrain thing. No, it was about the one, the one which is an enemy hero died this turn.
Yep.
If that's their only hero and it died, it would lock them out of controlling any of their battle tactics on that card. But unfortunately the card has been, well, not unfortunately, luckily the card has been written that a hero was destroyed this game, not a you purposely did it in melee, which was what we had the problem with Slay the Tyrants last game.
Yeah.
But yes, lovely. So it's now 25 to 20 in the Fyreslayers favor.
Yeah.
Out of a total possible 40 points we could have had each. We now come on to round 3. We've rolled for priority. You have chosen to go first. Nice. You are the underdoge, which is good for you. And also with your underdoging, you get to use the ability.
I do.
Which is, I believe it's the...
At battle rounds 2 and 4. In 3 and 5, your army has powerful resurgence. Add 1 to wound rolls while contesting a null route.
So these the Naru ones?
Yes, the green ones.
The green. Okay, cool. Right. That doesn't seem right. I might be losing my mind. I'll double check what I read earlier because I think I might have done something wrong there, and I apologise if I did. But yes, I think I might have done that wrong in a minute. We'll check in a minute.
Yeah, okay.
Back in a moment for Sylvaneth Turn 3. For God's sake.
So that was a marginally better turn for the Sylvaneth. We got 10 points by getting both of our strike tactics on the battle tactic cards. So I had to have 2 units retreat, which they did. We had the Tree Revenants here. We had Dearth the River there. They both retreated and didn't die. And then we had 2 units that had to charge, and at least one of them had to charge into one of those lure units that they retreated from. So the Kernoths charged, the Arch Revenant charged, who's dead, and Tree Lord charged. 2 of those charges went into lore groups, 1 just went into a different group altogether. We also had to be the underdog, which we were. There's at least 1 friendly unit on the battlefield, there is, and at least half of the friendly units used a fight ability this turn. They did. So that's both of those tactics got. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just doing the maths because you had your Tree Lord, your Dearthu, your Tree Revenant. You had 5 units at the start of the round. 3 of them fought. Or no.
No, they didn't.
No.
2 of them did.
No, only 1 of them fought.
Yeah, because you killed.
Because I did strike first.
Oh, so maybe not then.
So you don't get the what? What's the wording on it?
At least half of the friendly units on the battlefield used a fight ability this turn.
They did not use a fight ability.
No.
Which is the active.
Which is okay, so maybe they didn't. Okay, well, that's fine. We'll sort it. But we wanted to shout out somebody who answered a question for us, which is Roundhouse 93. Roadhouse 93.
Roadhouse.
Literally, my brain has just taken that in and forgot it. Because we asked if something retreats and it dies from the damage from retreating, does it still count as a retreat? And the answer was yes.
Yes, if that is still correct, if people in the comments let us know if that's actually incorrect, you believe there's a reason for this. The gentleman gave, or the person, I don't know if they were, what identity they would be, I just know their name. So if Roadhouse...
that explanation.
If Roadhouse has actually got it wrong as well, let us know in the comments. I'm sure they have got it right because we asked it on the Age of Sigmar page itself, and people don't exactly just throw random information. And
it makes sense that you retreated, you died, but you still did the retreat.
If it was like the wording of it was a unit is a unit on the battlefield did this at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
Like it gets the keyword lure it gets the lure keyword, and therefore because it's got the lure keyword, if there are 2 units on the battlefield at the end of the turn, that's where I'd go, no, you don't have it.
Yeah.
But
so it died, but it still retreated, so okay. Thank you for that.
Nice one. So you still get that point.
That's it then. That's the end of this turn.
So you get 0 CP, 0 VP from the objectives because I control both of the Gnarl routes.
Yep.
But you get your 5 VP from your strike on your Attune to Gairan.
Yeah.
but you don't get the strike on
cycles.
raffle cycles. So you've still got that to play for.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it might happen next turn, or the more, like, the nicer thing that you've got is the less units you get on the board, the more chance you've got of doing more than half of them do it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think in this next turn you're going to kill everything I have anyway, so I don't think I'm going to get past it.
It is starting to look very close. Like, Dirthy's on 1 wound and has a bubble of Volkites looking at him. Gotrek and the guys are looking at that objective for over there.
Yeah.
You've just then got those Tree Revenants and the Kernoffs over there. The poor little Grimhold Exile just been running around trying to get close to someone.
Yeah.
And these guys are just back here. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. The only thing I should note is I spent, just because we did say I've used the Rune of Fury. Because I've been casting, I've been summoning spells and manifestations and things. I had free tokens on the Rune Master, which I spent the free when I declared the ability to therefore get the additional part of Rune of Fury, which is they get +1 to wound rolls whilst they have Strike First, which the Strike First is when you've been charged. So therefore that's how I got the combat with those free before the Sylvaneth attacked. Anyway, back in a moment for potentially last round.
Yeah.
This is Fyreslayers Turn 3 and potentially the end of it.
Okay.
Bye. Hello. I bloody love this new edition.
Well, you've just won, that's why.
That's why.
Luckily we didn't have anything riding on this. No one had to buy someone an usher on or anything. What's that? Oh, God.
I bought myself an usher
Bought
on.
himself an usher on.
Because I'm a winner in my heart.
You've got to look after the loser inside.
Anyway, so.
Oh my God, it's too hot for this.
It's too hot.
Right.
Let's talk about what just happened now. Shut up! Anyway, welcome back to Nonsense Hammer. So, we did my turn 3.
Yeah, I've lost the plot. Yeah, we did your turn 3.
As you saw on the board, essentially I just ran around the corners trying to take out, I had the Molten Infernoff and the Bubble of Volkai Berserkers over on the Null Route objective in No Man's Land, run up and slap into Durthu, killing Durthu. I had the Half-Guard Berserkers run round the corner into, they charged around the corner for the factually accurate. They charged around. You killed 5 of them before they had a chance to hit you, but between the remaining Volkai Berserkers and the 3 Half-Guards that were there, I killed them, which got me 10 points on objectives, and 5 points on battle tactic for the intercept and retrieve because of Durthu and your Tree Lord Ancient both being dead, but I can only score 1 of them at the end of a turn, which meant that the next turn I would get another guaranteed 5 points. However, we rolled for round 4. Because Emma just had those 2 Revenants left, we just went, let's just say what we would have done if it was a case. I rolled priority, so I would seize the initiative, meaning I couldn't score any battle tactic. Attuned to Gairan I couldn't do any more anyway, because of the fact there was no chance to retreat out of anything, and therefore couldn't do that and then get the third part, of which I would have scored there's nothing in friendly or neutral territory, so I would have got domination if I could have worked out how to do it earlier. So keep an eye on your battle tactics as you go in. However, even without the 5 extra points of retrieve and intercept and retrieve, I got 10 objective points by running Go Trek onto your home objective.
Yeah, you did.
And these Volkite Berserkers and Half-Guard would deal with your 2 Tree Revenants. Even with a rally and stuff like that, I think it would be a guaranteed, because I would also be able to rally. And then that would finish the game on 50 to 25.
Yeah, I would.
You could have done some, like we were just saying before we hit record, you could have done some things and potentially brought back 5 points somewhere.
Yeah, but
then I would then have had more chance to do things, and therefore would have been 55 points to your 30. Which, it works out 25 point kind of lead anyway. Or 20 to 25 point lead, depending on what happens.
Depending on what you do. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well.
Right, thank you for watching. We're going to speed through this bit. Thank you for playing. It was a pleasure to play something that, like I said before, it was very different to play. Like, I was enjoying it more not playing Iron Jaws. I felt more enjoyable playing against your Sylvaneth because it's a different challenge.
You weren't salty.
No? I've not been bringing that up.
Just want that to be noted on film in perpetuity.
Stop.
You're not salty.
But yeah, it was an interesting game. I'd definitely like to see this. The fun thing is now that we were in a brand new edition almost. It's 4.5, and it feels like I want to try every one of my armies again to be like, what do they play like now? Like we played that game with your Stormcast list versus my Ogres, and that was fun. I won that one as well. And you've tried your Soulblight Gravelords recently with them.
We don't talk about this.
Against my...
No.
Fyreslayers?
I don't.
And I scored.
Could have been.
In fairness, Go Trek was there as well. Need to let Go Trek...
Go Trek's done nothing in this game, really.
How dare you? He did some damage to your Trudon Ancient, and then he ran up the board and took your home objective. Anyway...
It's not done very Go Trek things.
No, but Go Trek isn't very Go Trek in this edition.
It's not, no.
You have to spend a CP to get his double fight.
Much less Go Trek.
He still goes 3 up ward, but he's got a 5 up save. And his attacks are good, and 8 attacks on 2s and 2s run 2 free damage with crit mortals. But with the Fyreslayer dice, they never roll that well. But anyway.
He's bad.
So that's the game.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you
for playing.
Thank you for playing.
We will see you in a fortnight for the next episode of the Path to Glory.
Yes.
Episode 5 of the Ogres v Stormcast as we head into the Blood in the Valleys.
The one where there's blood in the valleys.
The one where there's no objectives.
We just fight.
We just fight one another.
We've not filmed it yet, but it's going to be simple.
It's going to be simple.
Just fight.
If you've watched this far, please let us know in the comments what you want to see, because personally I think that, especially with the rule changes in advanced rules, it might be a case that the Path to Glory needs to be repurposed and remoulded into something different rather than specifically Ravaged Coast. But also, I know you've been enjoying the Ravaged Coast, so I won't take that away from you.
Thank you.
But if there's anything that you'd like to see more, like in a more narrative sense, we've been talking about the idea of like almost using Path to Glory to do like the Bastion story for Bastion Cartholis, or like what the rise of an archregent up to Usheron sort of thing in like a fun little narrative play through that. What happens if, because we've got at least one of every order, every Grand Alliance, what happens if the 4 of them go against one another? You need an excuse to learn your Soulblight and your Sylvaneth.
Yeah.
I need an excuse to learn my Flesh Eater Courts and potentially buy some slaves to do this. So yeah, let us know what you want to see in the comments below. And until the 1st, it's been 0 days since your last nonsense. Hammer.
Bye.
I did it this time.
You did. Did you do it?
Bye-bye.
Bye.